What's going on, guys? So in today's video, I'm going to be doing my first impressions and unboxing of the Pixel 9 Pro XL. And if you're wondering what all these other devices are, I will do quick comparisons between the Pixel 7 Pro, the Pixel 8 Pro, the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and a device you may have heard of in the past, the Nothing Phone 2. You know, the thing with the lights on the back, and when you put it down, it goes. Beautiful device. But unlike other tech tubers who have light bars in the back, I have a curtain rod, $5 from Walmart. And you know what else we don't have that other tech tubers have? A sponsor. Nobody. Let's move these devices out of the way and let's talk about the Pixel 9 Pro. This is the flagship of flagship by Google, and we got to give credit where credit is due, and this was made in China. All right, so the pull tabs, I do say I think I kind of prefer the newer box that Google's putting out for their devices, even though it does feel cheap. You know, I think it's better to have a recyclable box instead of having like this super fancy stuff. Anyway, I'm just talking to delay the inevitable. So there's that, and let's go ahead and just. Does this smell like cardboard? It smells like a sponge, like a dish sponge. Anyway. This is the Pixel 9 Pro, and we are all familiar with the boxier design. Here's your cables if you care about that stuff. We don't care about that on the channel. On the front, we do have a layout of what the buttons do. So power button, volume, your SIM card, and charging port, and now the in-display fingerprint reader that is ultrasonic. Then moving over to the back, you can just slide this baby on out. Look how smooth this is. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Definitely the white is the color to get when it comes to the bigger Pixel devices. As much as I like the Obsidian on the Pixel devices, they just leave too many fingerprints, whereas the white is just chef's kiss, man. But yeah, let's do a quick comparison between the Pixel 8 Pro. So you'll notice that the color is a little bit different. I'd say the porcelain on last generation has a bit of a cream color. I actually kind of prefer it. And then obviously the visor or the camera shape is completely different, how it kind of runs with the overall railing of the device. That doesn't exist anymore on the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I would say the side railing is very, very shiny. I'm not sure if I like that. Definitely reminds me of the iPhone, and it actually feels pretty good in the hand. So let's go ahead and power this on and kind of look at the other differences from the previous generation. So something that you might not notice too much is the volume rocker. I always thought the volume rockers were fairly cheap on the Pixel devices, definitely better than the 7th generation. But now it's more of a flat design. It looks a bit more consistent with the overall boxy shape that they're going for. The top remains the same. The side is no longer housing the SIM card tray, so that is not what you see on the Pixel 9 Pro. I don't have OCD, but it does bother me a bit that it's not really consistent on both sides, but do keep that in mind. But overall, I would say it's pretty much the same. I do miss the display on the 7 series, so let me go ahead and pull out the Pixel 7 Pro. So bringing out the Pixel 7 Pro, you'll notice that the differences are probably a bit more, or there's a bigger gap in the differences. You can definitely tell with the visor, this looks older, but trust me, the 7 Pro camera system is still top of its class when it comes to the camera department. Photos, especially videos, I'd say it's a bit of a hit or miss, so I don't want to give Google complete credit. Oh wow, the sun's coming out, that's nice. So now you guys can see what it looks like in the light, right? Ooh. Anyway, back on topic. Still have the pill-shaped design. The overall design has remained the same from the previous generation. I do like the curve that is on the older generations of the Pixel, but this new boxy shape, it's going to grow on me, just like with most things that change on the whole smartphone industry. We have curves, then it's boxy, we have curves, we have boxy, and we're just in the boxy state again. And yeah, I'd say overall, I'm still not the biggest fan of the bottom side, how they ended up doing this design. It's just not symmetrical, but you know, it is what it is. We're gonna have to get used to it, but I do like how everything was pretty much consistent overall when it came to the older designs. Moving along, let's just go ahead and set up the devices. I'll compare the other two devices after I set up. So let's go ahead and get started. So some features that are available at launch with the Pixel 9 Pro XL and the regular Pixel 9 is the car crash detection. So this is basically if you were in an unfortunate event of being in a car accident that is pretty severe, it will automatically alert emergency services to be dispatched to you. We also have the Pixel Satellite SOS. This is a feature that Apple put out a couple years ago. So if you are in an area that does not have connection to cell service or cell towers, it would actually connect to the satellites that are out in space in order to get your message to, your loved ones or anyone else that you need to contact. So that's also great. All right, so I have the Pixel 9 Pro XL here, and just looking at the display already, can't say there is a big difference between the two. I'd say they're fairly similar. It does look like we have a bigger screen overall. I guess that's with the new boxy design. And I really don't like the 8 Pro display compared to the regular 8. But compared to the Pixel 7 Pro, I think the Pixel 7 Pro had some of the best displays that Google was using at its time, because the slight curve definitely does help. And overall, I would just say, it's not like you're getting that big of a difference between the two. Yes, the Pixel 9 Pro goes up to 3000 nits peak brightness, and this one only goes up to 1500. But you're really not going to notice that difference when you're indoors. That's something you're only going to notice when you're outside or you're in like direct sunlight. So I'm actually just going to crank both these up all the way up to its max so you guys can see some of the differences. And I would say they're both plenty bright, but you're not really going to be able to see until you go outside. But yeah, the Pixel 8 Pro, in terms of the display comparison between the two, it's not bad. It's not bad. But you have to combat against some of the kings in the industry, and that would be the S24 Ultra. So S24 Ultra does not mess around when it comes to its display. Let me just crank the brightness all the way up. And yeah, Google, please excuse yourself from the video update. Google, you've done a decent job. Actually, decent is a bit of an understatement. I think Google has done a fantastic job with their displays of recent years. I can't say which one I prefer. I'm definitely have to do a deeper comparison. It's just a quick first impressions between the two displays, but man, oh man, does this display look nice, man. So the other phone that I want to do a quick comparison between the two is the Nothing Phone 2. I don't think this phone gets a lot of talk, even though I still think it's a pretty impressive device for its price point. And obviously the display is not going to be nearly as bright. But yeah, it feels like a Nothing Phone, but it's just with a Google skin. And looking at the Nothing Phone, honestly, it's pretty much almost identical. I think the Nothing Phone kind of flies under the radar for most of its life, even though I still think it's a pretty impressive device. People like to say that this looks like an iPhone, feels like an iPhone, but I feel like that's kind of discrediting the Nothing Phone, which looks way more like the iPhone than any other Android. And even when you have this nice feature on the back that, the lights are what really sell the Nothing Phone. But overall, I would say that if you're trying to figure out what is the closest thing to the Pixel in the entire Android ecosystem, I would say it's actually the Nothing Phone 2. Even when you talk about like the display, the animations, and things like that, it's really reminiscent on both phones. And even like, look at the display. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, let's do our regular phone thing. So let's go ahead, open up YouTube, and look at a 4K video. All right, so welcome to the Pixel 9 Pro display. And I would say Google, as of late, like I've said probably plenty of times in the videos so far, in recent years, they have really focused on their display. And I know there are some issues when it comes to actually navigating through the phone. There might be some hitches, some stutter. But if we're talking about picture quality, I really do think Google has a fantastic display on their hands. There's been a lot of high peak brightness in the industry. Google right now is sitting at 3000 peak brightness. This is an HDR video like I showed before. This is running at 4K 60 HDR. And I have the lights turned down. I still have some overhead lights, but I would say as of now, for what you're seeing, this is amazing. And seeing this in person, like, this looks rich. Like, look at that blue. It is very blue. So if you intend to watch content on the Pixel 9 Pro media consumption, you're not going to be disappointed. I will say there's some slight heat coming, like right above the Google logo, like right here. There's some heat, but I'm not going to dock Google too hard. The device did just set up, so it's probably just doing a whole bunch of stuff that's installing in the background. But I mean, just take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. This is a display that you want in your hands. You want to look at this display day in and day out. Am I right? All right. Anyway, So let's just go ahead and test out the speakers. And shout out to today's sponsor, Nobody. As tradition on this channel, we have to look at the latest comment when we first wake up and give credit to them for supporting the channel. So it says, did you wipe the camera lens before recording video after the run? One thing I found with the Flip is that the lens is smudging more than other phone due to being located on the front, which honestly, so I love Android for that. But you guys tell me how the quality is. There is a plane that is about to take off. I don't know if you can hear that, but you guys can know how the quality is. I'm gonna switch to the blur. So maybe the background looks really. So the speakers on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, I'd say are really nice compared to the 8 series. I don't know if it's that big of an improvement from the Pixel 8 Pro. And I know the naming scheme might be a little bit different, but you know, there's a Pixel 8 Pro, and previously these were the biggest sizes. Now there's an XL version, and the XL matches what the regular Pixel Pro devices were, so 8 down. But the Pixel 9 Pro by itself is going to be the size of what you would see from the regular Pixel 9, I should say. So slightly smaller. Display is going to be bigger, of course. But overall, I would say the Pixel 9 Pro, the speakers and the display, Google is checking the boxes there nicely. So let's go ahead and open up the camera. So another thing to note with the Pixel 9 series and above, including the 9 Pro XL, is that the front-facing camera now has autofocus on the front. So the 8 series and the 7 series, and basically everything that came before it, did not have autofocus on the front-facing lens. And I believe the megapixel count is 40 or 48, somewhere on the screen. But yeah, the front camera is greatly improved, and I do like how there's autofocus, so that should help in theory with portrait mode, kind of doing that detection of the depth. And then also when it comes to recording, giving you that better depth of field of, you know, what is in focus and what's not. Wait, can I not just do the palm? Did you guys see that? Perfect. Like, Android is so good, man. So good. Let's try that with the portrait mode. So first and foremost, let's look at the front cameras. Let's not get spoiled yet. This is the front-facing camera using the regular portrait or the regular photo mode. And yeah, I would say compared to the 9, I don't know if they're using the same camera, but this is nice. Compared to the 9 that I saw before, this is nice. I always like to do like the half face shot. And sheesh. Y'all see that? Oh, you can't see that now. Can you see that? Oh my lord. What about the other side? Google, you're in the top contender for best photo taker. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and look at the portrait mode. Don't know if it's too much. I'm still gonna have to fix my studio to have something in the back where you guys can actually see a blur effect, but I would say it's okay. You can kind of see the blur around my hair at the top here. It's nothing crazy, but yeah, it's doing Google things. Yeah, even this curtain rod up here, $5 from Walmart, it's doing its job blurring that out because the focus here is this guy. Now for the real stuff. Oh, you also notice up here it says portrait. You guys see that? It says portrait up there. It's nice. Yeah. Anyway, let's use the back camera. Google. The Pixel, man. The Pixel. The Pixel. Man. The Pixel. Jesus. Okay, this back camera, man. Okay, Google, you did good. You did good. You gotta give credit where credit is due. This back camera. I mean, do I need to say anything about this? Like, I could put this as my profile picture on every social media site. Instantly, negative $1 billion followers. But in all seriousness, like, this camera is nice. The back camera, if you want the best photos, I don't want to say videos, the best photos, Google has you covered. This is some of the best that I've seen. It's super sharp, retaining a lot of detail. I don't think this is the portrait one. The portrait one should be the next one. Yes, you can see up there with that portrait tag at the top. Once again, okay, Google, I can't praise you all that time and then you just mess with the portrait shot. So down here is blurry, which should not be blurry. That should be in focus because it's part of the subject. But you know, the face, it's still there. Like, I'm looking at Google, like, why did I just praise this company and now they're doing me like this on the portrait mode? But in all seriousness, like, This should not happen. I do want to give a lot of smartphones a pass during the first month because there's stuff that needs to be ironed out, to be optimized. So there's probably going to be an update within the next month to, fix some photo optimization stuff in the post processing, because this is not typical of Google, and this also happened on the Pixel 9. I haven't seen this in any other Pixel launch where the camera has a bit of inconsistency in the portrait shots that I take, but I mean, look at this. This is incredible. You can see the color of my iris. You can see the Grand Canyon on my face. Google, you did good with the camera. Now, we got to test out the video. All right, so this is the front-facing camera on the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I do believe the front-facing camera is shared on the regular Pixel 9 in the entire series. So I'm interested to see how the autofocus is going to be. You guys let me know how it looks, if I'm in focus or not. Also, let's go ahead and just throw up the S24 Ultra, see if that's in focus. I can see it already, it is in focus. Is it? I don't know. You guys be the judge of that. But let me know how the microphone sounds. I'd say in terms of the stabilization compared to what I saw on the Pixel 9, the front-facing camera just seems so much better than the back camera. Like, things look more balanced. It's not super crazy. I have way more control over like what's going on. It's not like front-facing camera is good. But now let's test out the back camera. I don't think the back camera is going to be that good. That's just my assumption. But you guys let me know. Also, like, what is this? There's like this white cast on my face. You guys notice that? The heck? It might just be the studio light. Who knows? All right, so now this is the back camera on the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. Sorry, I have so many devices on the table I can barely keep up with what device I'm holding right now. So yes, this is the Pixel 9 Pro XL. You guys tell me how the video quality is and the microphone. I want to say the microphone probably sounds better on the back camera, even though I think the microphones are the same. But the quality, you guys tell me how the quality is, because the quality is what really differentiates between the front and the back. Can't believe I said that word first try. Yeah, let's see how the autofocus works. I'm gonna go ahead and just put this in front of the device, and then I'm here. So you guys let me know how that looks. And then here is the white Nothing Phone 2. You guys let me know how that looks and sounds. That's a good looking phone. Anyway, this is the back camera video. Tell me how the stabilization is. I'm moving a bit. Anyway, yeah, this is the camera test on the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. Mouthful to say. So isn't Gemini Advanced like free for a year? Isn't that what they said? 12 months. Okay. Start the trial then, buddy. All right, and just like that, we got Gemini Advanced. So we have access to their next generation model 1.5 Pro, already access to new features, million token context window, and Gemini and all the other services that Google already offers. If you don't want to interact with Gemini like the regular way, I guess you could say the peasant way, through just the typing interface or using the regular voice command, they do have Gemini Live, which is more of a natural voice talking assistant. So let me go ahead and show you that. They do have different voices. I'm only going to cycle through like 5 of them, so let's just go ahead and see what that's like.
Great, let's get going. Here's one of the voices I have, but there's more to choose from. Swipe to give them a listen, or just tap.
And to wrap things up, I can also talk to you using the voice you're hearing.
Or possibly this other one. Testing.
Here's another one of my voices. Imagine me talking you through a fitness routine for the week, or something more.
I could talk like this all day. Trying on these voices is like trying on new clothes. So much fun.
Maybe this voice is more your style.
Then there's me, a voice for all seasons. I hope I make the cut. Just tap start to chat.
You made the cut.
You can always change my voice and settings later. Okay, I'm here whenever you're ready.
My tire popped on the side of the highway, and I'm driving a 2012 Toyota Camry, and I don't have a spare tire, but I do have one of those things that inflate the tire. Can you give me instructions or things that I should know before I start this process?
Okay, first things first. Let's find a safe spot off the road. Pull over on the shoulder or emergency lane as far off the highway as you can. Turn on your hazards to let other drivers know you're there. Now, before you start using the air inflator, take a look at your tire. If there's something stuck in it like a nail, you might have a slow leak. not a blowout.
Oh,
Check the
so
sidewall
the
of your
problem
tire.
is I actually don't have anything in the tire. The tire actually blew off on the side of the highway. So it's really just, I don't know, the bolts themselves. I'm not really a car person, but there's no old tire, so you don't have to worry about that stuff.
Okay, first up, let's find a safe spot pulled over on the shoulder. Flash those hazards to warn other cars. Now, take a good look at that flat tire. If the rim of the wheel is damaged, you might need a tow truck, not just a repair kit. Assuming the rim's okay, let's get that inflator going.
Okay,
Check your owner's manual.
completely
beside
forget
all of your
about
tire
what I just said. I
inside.
just confused you because I just said that I have a tire inflator, but my tire is completely gone. So let's just say I need help trying to get a better nutritional diet for my day. And I want it to be medium carb, but I don't want a lot of meat or fish. So can you tell me some plant-based protein that I can eat to supplement that?
Okay, let's come up with a healthy eating plan. Plant-based protein sounds like a good place to start. There are lots of options like beans, lentils, tofu, tempeh, and seitan. You can also get protein from nuts and seeds. So for breakfast, maybe some Greek yogurt with fruit and a handful of nuts. For lunch, you could try a bean and veggie soup, or a tofu and vegetable stir-fry. For dinner, you could try a lentil curry, or a tempeh burger. Oh, and just a reminder, I don't provide medical advice or diagnoses. You should always talk to a medical professional.
So the weird thing is the phone is actually locked right now, but you can still hear me, right?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear. Even with the phone locked, Gemini, Life can still use your voice commands. So go ahead and ask away. What can I help you with?
How do you sound so natural, as if you're an actual human being talking? Can you talk me through the process that Google used for you to sound like this?
So it all comes down to a technology called neural networks. It's like training a brain to find patterns in huge amounts of data. In this case, we're talking about recordings of real people talking.
Oh,
It's
so
really good
I
at
have a quick
figuring out how
question.
sound-
Whenever I'm on customer service and it says this call might be used for training purposes, is it training the neural nets?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Those recordings can be used to fine-tune
Wow,
models
that's
and
actually
figure out
crazy.
where things.
Anyway, that's all I really need. You don't got to talk anymore. I think I get the gist. Neural network series in my recordings for customer service when I yell at people. Thanks. Have a good day.
All right. You
Oh.
too.
All right. So yeah, that's Gemini Advance. I just used the subscription. I would say compared to the live demo that they did on stage and what is here now, it is pretty fast and quick to response. But just to show you guys, it really is just a what the heck? There we go.
So I can't show you a demo like you would see on a traditional.
Shut up. Yeah, this is pretty much just you talking to the regular Gemini. It saves a transcript and whatnot, which is great. But do keep in mind, if you don't want to use a Gemini Advanced, like have a natural conversation, just tap here. Can you tell me what the distance is between the moon? And not only that, can you tell me the reason why the Earth has high tides and low tides and how that correlates to the moon and its position? Give it a second.
Okay, let's explore the moon's distance.
So, like, compared to like the Gemini Advance and like the live talking thing, I would say you're really just getting the luxury of getting the person to talk to you immediately, whereas it takes like 3, 4, 5 seconds for that response to happen. So, don't think that's really that big of a deal breaker. But yeah, overall, I'd say the Pixel 9 Pro XL, got to keep that in, is a pretty compelling device. But I'd say compared to the 8 Pro, I don't think you're really missing that much. Obviously, the design is different. The white is porcelain, I should say, is more white. I do like the curve still, but I think the display was what the deal breaker was for me on the regular Pixel 8 Pro. But the one thing I do want to show you guys is Gemini. Once again, I know you're tired of Gemini, but just realize Gemini is available on other smartphones. So this is the Nothing Phone 2. This phone came out, I think, a year ago. And watch this, watch this, watch this. I need help painting my walls. Can you tell me the proper things that I should do before I start painting the walls gray?
Preparing your walls for a
1.
white paint job.
Protect the area.
And I mean, seriously, like, it's really not that big of a difference. I'd say the results are different on the Pixel 9 Pro because I just subscribed to the advanced version. So I'm assuming I'm using the higher model or the more expensive model. But I mean, like, you can get Gemini on pretty much every Android device. And it's not like you need a fast processor. It's more of an internet connection. So don't be swayed to just buy a Pixel for Gemini and Gemini alone. You can do it on other Pixel or non-Pixel devices. Anyway, this Pixel 9 Pro XL, I think starts at $1,100 if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they do have a newer processor, a better display, a newer design, 16 gigabytes of RAM, but it's $1,100 for a Pixel, man. That's a lot of money, and I don't know if I can recommend that yet. Obviously, I can recommend iPhones, and I know some people may be like, oh wow, this guy's an iPhone shill. It's because it's been proven that iPhones last long, and they still have good software support. And overall, for what you're getting, I would say it's worth the price of what you're paying for. I don't really care too much about customization. You know, I'd rather have my device last long and perform long than just being able to customize it and say, hey, this is cool for the first few years, then it starts slowing down, right? So that is why I'm having a hard time trying to defend this price point that Google is at with the Pixel 9 Pro. And that's why I feel as though that the regular 9 is more in line of what you would want. And I don't know if it's worth paying the extra size for this when you can just get the regular Pixel 9 Pro and still get most of the features, right? So with that being said, I'm gonna have to daily drive this. Why did I say daily drive? I'm going to use this device on a day-to-day basis and get back to you guys and give you guys my full review, but pretty excited overall. I really do love how this feels in the hand. This might be one of the best Pixel devices. It's just, does the price warrant everything that you get when, like I said before, there are other Androids on the market that can have AI as well. So with all that being said, guys, appreciate every single sub, like, and comment. Hopefully you enjoyed this first impressions and unboxing of the Pixel 9 Pro. It's probably going to be a bit on the longer side, but you guys let me know if you prefer the longer or shorter unboxings. And as always, guys, much love. Did I smell this? I didn't think I smelled this. It doesn't smell like anything. Am I recording? New device sign in on Google Pixel Power. Google Pixel Power.
One face cropped. Move your phone left and down.
Shut up.
One face. Move your phone left and down.
Please shut up.